Good afternoon, good morning even, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, salam. My name is Jan Robberts. I am also a mentor in Amy Carrier's classroom and will give some of you time to get to the call. I'm a bit sharp, which is nice to be here in time, but I'll give you some time to get here. But tonight, my subject is going to be Think and Grow, and it's all about the power of persistence. And it's going to be a huge plug for something else I'm going to be talking about, which is going to start tomorrow. But I'll mention that later. It's about Think and Grow Rich. It's already in Amy Carrier's classroom as well, and I'm sure if you haven't found it yet, you can find the link there to sign up. But again, I'll talk about it later because I think it is one of the most important and most advantageous programs to actually get involved in personal development. If you haven't got involved yet and you really have thought, I need to start personal development and I need to start doing something about growing myself, there is many worse places to start than Think and Grow Rich. Hi, I'm Breen, lovely to see you. And I'm here, of course, always wonderful to see you here as well, my friend. And yes, I know that Arthi actually, when she was on last night, she went outside and showed you some of our beautiful sunset here, and as you can hear the birds in the background, it's happening again. We are blessed with the weather we've got at the moment, and it's fairly warm. It's a little bit lighter actually tonight, and as you can see, there's trees all around us and birds shouting their heads off. They're noisy creatures. But yeah, so we will go back inside as it's gonna get dark anytime soon now. And as I said, I'll wait for a few minutes. But, this is going to be really about what it takes. I'm not even, I could have said Happy New Year, but instead I'm going to go to Happy New Day. A friend of ours, Mike Pullens, he always says Happy New Day, and I really believe in that because when we start with this Happy New Year, and of course we've got into from 2018 to 2019 and we've got into a new year, and I know that, but we're now already 13 days in, and when we talk about New Year's resolutions, I think I mentioned it the last time, and I think, if I remember well, Arthi mentioned it last night as well, and New Year's resolutions are a wonderful thing to have and to look forward to and to talk about with your friends, and you go back to work or wherever you are, and what kind of resolutions have you set for yourself? And then the next question is continually, are you still with your New Year's resolution? Because we know that the vast majority of people don't follow through on the things they've actually planned for ever since they failed the year before, and that could be, I would reckon that. And I don't know the right statistics at the moment, but I know that somewhere between the end of February and the end of January, in fact, and the end of March, most New Year's resolutions stop. All to be talked about, well, we're going to try it again next year. And that's why it's so important that tonight we're actually going to talk about persistence. What is it? What is it all about? Because what I really want to know is, have you got what it takes? Whatever New Year's resolution you set, change it into a goal. But the good thing about why I say Happy New Day is that I think we should talk more about every day. Hello, my friend, Mr. Ahak. Salam. We should start more talking about new days, happy new days. And it makes total sense. If you set some goal today, a new day resolution, how's that? Because that means that if you happen to fail, or just there is a day that you won't make it, then there's always again tomorrow. You don't have to wait 364 days on most years, and 365 on 1 every 4 to actually start again. I never understood that. So if you are with a mindset that you want to succeed, now what does it take to succeed? Yes, it takes setting goals and all that kind of stuff, and we had visitors last night. If you follow Arthi or myself on Facebook, we were blessed to have a jazz band in our living room yesterday. Hi Amy, lovely to see you. Hope all is well with your health. And we had these people in, and so when Artie was live, I normally comment on Artie, and I know Artie's already on again. For those who don't know, and I would be surprised, Artie is also a mentor in the team. There is 12 of us around the world at the moment. There will be more very shortly, and I look forward to it, because there is so many more subjects that can be addressed, and we will, if by any chance you have a subject that you would like addressed, whether it's for one session or multiple sessions, let us know. If between the 12 of us right now we can't do it, let us know who is capable of what you want, and we will see if we can put it together, because there is a wide variety of subjects that we cover between the 12 of us, from anything from mindset to youth development to cryptocurrency, and how to set up your home studio, marketing, successful marketing, entrepreneurship, and for us, leadership, communication, team building, personal development. So there is a whole range of stuff. So every day of the week, we're all getting started again, just like yourselves. So that we're not all available right yet, but some of us have already started in the last few days. So if you go back in Amy Carrier's classroom, and I believe we have now around about 6,500 people in the classroom. So if you find any of this of benefit, go and tell your friends. Bring them with them, because it is free. As you will see a little bit later on as well, what I'm going to talk free, it means you actually will need to spend some time. We are given of our time, and it's a pleasure and a privilege. But you will also need to give of your time. And time is something we can never get back, so to spend it wisely. Therefore, we have so much information that actually you can join. It is available at the moment. It's available for a bit longer, but as things get more busier, I think there is a time limit on how long this will be available. And that's also, it's not just you can't have it anymore, but it's also for you to take action. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that as well in persistence, because you need to. Hi Faizan, salam. I'm very well, thank you very much, and thank you for joining us. PJ, another one of our entrepreneurs. He's traveling all over the place. Of one of our entrepreneurs. I'm reading PJ Entrepreneur. PJ is one of our mentors as well. He's traveling around the world, and quite often wherever we can, we support each other as well. So it's always wonderful to see him. Thank you, PJ. And he's also got a program on. So if you haven't joined Amy Carrier's classroom and you find this video somewhere, there is a simple link where you have to answer 3 simple questions, and it's free to join. I believe there is now around about 100 countries represented from around the world, and we look forward to expanding this so we can reach more people and support more people in subjects that are important to you. Therefore, also, while we do this, I also always look forward to questions. Challenge me. I certainly don't know it all. That some of our other mentors might be sitting in, and they might be able to give questions on stuff. I don't know, but we get stretched. We learn all the time as well. We are continually developing ourselves, and this is also, now you're here, I believe that is something you're into as well. So let me ask you a question. It is now about nearly 10 minutes past, so let me ask you a question. What do you want most in life? And I'm not just talking about the single little goals you can set every day, but what do you want most in life? And if I ask you, and a lot of people don't even know that. So we're talking into purpose and something that drives you, something that speaks to your heart. We're not talking about a fancy car or something like that, but what really do you want most in life? And if you do know what you want, could you show me right now a piece of paper, or I know again modern, a tablet or an Android or a laptop or a computer where you've written on what you want, so you can actually, and maybe even a piece of paper in your wallet or in your pocket that you can see it every day. So you need to know what you want. You need to know, and you need to write it down, because wishing is not a very good strategy. Like hope is wonderful, but unless you start hoping that you will sometime in the future get or achieve or become what you want, no, I don't think you're in the wrong place. But here we are. Whatever it is you want, and as I said, tonight we're going to talk about. It said think and grow. For those of you who just joined us, it said Think and Grow. But of course, anybody who knows Napoleon Hill, the title of his book is Think and Grow Rich. Now, I left the rich bit off because it's not just about becoming rich and rich doesn't necessarily mean just monetary, although yes, of course, that's possible. But rich in knowledge, rich in impacting people, rich in doing all kinds of things for yourself, for your family, your community, your neighbors, your country, people around the world. So to enrich yourself as well with knowledge and all kinds of things that you need to actually do what you want, but how are you going to achieve that? So there is always, when you do those kind of things and you say, okay, I've got a goal, and you might even share it with some people, and there's going to be a lot of critics, because if you stand out and do something different than most people do, see, it is very simple. You need to do something for you to change and be something different, or become something different, or have something different. You need to do something different than most people around you are doing. And if some people already have or became or do what you want, find out how they got there. It's amazing how many people are willing to help you, or at least give you some knowledge or some direction on how to get at least started. But getting started is one thing. New Year's resolutions say, it's easy to get started. It is the stopping is usually the problem. The quitting, the failing. And the problem is as well as when you share this, especially with people who are not as driven, not as much in a position or in an area where you want to impact lives. And I mean, if you said to some people, I want to impact millions of lives, they'll look at you strangely and say, okay, give me a smoke of your cigarette, or what are you drinking? But more, if that was the worst that would happen to you, it's not a problem. But what happens a lot is, you need to. Because what happens is friends, family, acquaintances, they are usually the biggest critics because they know you. They kind of look at you and say, what have you ever achieved in your life? You're X amount of years old and, you've never done anything yet. So what makes you think that you can? Who do you think you are? And all those kind of things. And we get, they push us down again. But I'm saying, don't let them push you down. You need to actually carry on despite all the opposition. If rather than take it all in and say, maybe they're right. No, they're not right. Because if you want something they haven't got, it's always those who haven't got are the biggest critics of those who want to go and do things. And it's always impossible until it's done. There is so many examples of things that could not be done. The Wright brothers were told by their own father, who was a bishop, that if we were meant to fly, we would have had wings. It's impossible. It's never going to happen. They carried on. They started in a bicycle shed. And Kitty Hawk was their moment of glory, and the rest, as I say, is history. We fly all over the world because of these things. Now, you might know that story, but the story you don't know, and I don't know the guy's name, it was an Englishman. He had found a flying machine before. He had developed. But what happened to him is he had he had a lot of backing, millions of dollars worth of backing. If it in English, might have been in pounds, but he had an enormous amount of backing. So when he was ready, he invited the press, and he was going to shoot off a ramp over the river, and this was going to be the one. Now, the first time it happened, he actually took off into the water. It was a disaster. So, of course, he got up, Julie got up, and he tried again. So the next time he was ready, it took a while, he invited the press again. And this time, when he took off, the plane turned upside down into the river, and he nearly drowned. So he stopped. Now, so why did we not hear about this guy? And you can Google it, but I don't know his name just now. Because he stopped. He did not persist any longer with all the funds he had, because the press made a fool out of him. We haven't got wings. We were not meant to fly. Who does he think he is? All the kind of stuff. And, they made him the laughing stock, and because of that, he stopped. So that's why I'm saying it, if you are sticking your neck out to do something different than most people around you have ever done, somebody is going to take a pot shot at you. And quite often, a lot of people, they will talk behind your back and all that kind of stuff. But, hey, don't let other people's opinion of you become your reality. Because when you stop, then forevermore you wonder, could I have? Should I have? And and why didn't I have? And don't go to your deathbed, because it's going to happen to us all. There's a few things, we're born and we die. That's going to happen. That's no secret. That it's not, so far at least, there is no way in we can avoid that. But don't go be at the other end and thinking, I wish I had. And the only reason you didn't, because people told you couldn't. And there is many stories of this. And I mean, John F. Kennedy, in 1961, he said that before the end of the decade they were going to put people on the moon. Now, it was never done before. But he asked some engineers what it would take to make that happen. And it was 5 words. I was on with a friend, Kamrul Hassan, a couple of weeks ago, and I talked about this, and I couldn't remember the 5 words, but I remember it vividly now. And there was 5 words that they told him. And it says, the will to do it. The will to do it. And of course, a lot of desire, motivation, persistence. Because I am pretty sure, I can put a hand on my heart, and I've never read it, but I'm pretty sure that I've had many struggles to make this a reality. But we all know what happened. A small step for man, a great step for mankind, and the whole story, many of us watched it. So, what I'm saying is that there is a lot of things. But for many people, hi Darren, another one of our mentors, thank you for joining us. But a lot of people, the lack of persistence is a weakness. It is the weakness. It is why they give up the New Year's resolution, why they have to start all over again. And the problem is, there is no disgrace in failure. Failure is never final. See, if you fall with your face down in a puddle, you won't drown. But you will if you stay in it. And it only needs to be a puddle. So you need to get up again. And again, when you look at each and every one of us, when we were children, very little, we couldn't walk yet. Now at first we started crawling, that was an invention and a half. And our mothers had to hide all kinds of stuff from us at that kind of level. But the worst was still to come, because all of a sudden we tried to walk. Now, you see baby videos where they climb up against the furniture and they try to take a walk and they wobble and all over the place and they fall down. They never stay down. And they try again and they fall down again. But here's the thing. We all have that persistence, because if we didn't have it, we would never have been walking. We'd still be crawling around. We wouldn't need an airplane either, come to think of it. But we'd still be crawling around. So that persistence is ingrained in us. It's somewhere along the line, because with those little kids, what happens is, nobody tells them, hey, you can never do that. You will never be able to walk. Who do you think you are? You're a child of mine, but I don't think you'll ever be able to do it. No, of course that was never going to happen. We encourage it. We encourage our children. We encourage the children of others. And come on, you can do it. And we cheer them on when they stand up, and we cheer them on when they take their first step, and videos are made of all that kind of stuff. But we encourage each other to succeed. And it's only when they get older, when we get older, things change. And not for the better either. And there's all kinds of reasons. There is, whether it's jealousy, whether it is just a total disbelief in the person. And I said, when you realize, and it's talked about a lot, that our mind is so powerful that as yet we do not know what we can do. Yet we act as if we cannot do most things. And a lot of that belief, that negative belief, stops us in our tracks. It stops us having that persistence. And the thing is, whether you will keep going, it actually depends on the intensity of your desire. Now, I actually did read the chapter on persistence in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, again. And some of this stuff I wrote it down, because I will mention it again, but I think it's a good time to talk about it just now. The reason I chose Think and Grow today is because tomorrow, and we will put a link, I'm sure Artie and myself will put a link in Amy Carrier's classroom again. We've put it on our own Facebook pages all over the place. There is a free, now don't mistake that, it's a 4-letter word, free. A free 16-day deep dive into the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, when you go to the link and you sign up, Paul Martinelli is the president of the John Maxwell team. He's created 3 multi-million-dollar businesses, and the Maxwell team now has, which I'm an executive director of, and Arthur also a mentor. It's got 23,000 coaches, trainers, and speakers around the world already in over 160 countries in the last 7 years. So he knows what he's talking about, and this is the 3rd multi-million-dollar business. So him and our speaker trainer in the John Maxwell team, Roddy Galbraith, they have put this program together. And in over 16 days, every day, they will actually take you through the book Think and Grow Rich, which you will be able to download free as well. You will be able to download the workbook that accompanies it as well. And here's the thing. As he mentions as well, it is free, but in reality. And this time, normally it was open to a select group of people, select 23,000 people, but he's opened it up to the entire world. In fact, what he shows in the video as well, when you watch it, when you sign up, his integrity is such that he had already started charging for the program, which he was going to start running this month, and he already had to pay back about $20,000 to people who'd already subscribed. So you can imagine how popular it was even as a paid program. But here is the thing. This program is free, but it starts tomorrow on the 14th, and you have for every day, you have videos, you have a live broadcast, you've got extra videos that you can log into, and it's got deeper dives that you can access to, but the whole program is there, and it's his bestseller in another multi-million-dollar business, by the way. But he's decided to give this for free to everybody and anybody who is willing to take their personal development serious. And I'm not just saying this, okay, it's nice to have a book by Napoleon Hill. No, what is happening is, he said, you need to be willing to spend 1 to 1.5 hours every day from the 14th to the 30th, 16 days of your time. That's why you need to spend your time. So that's how much you need to invest. You need to invest your time in that program, because every session for the 14 days will be available for only 48 hours. After the 48 hours, the screen goes blank and you cannot get access to it anymore. So not only is it that you need to invest, you need to take action now. We are always saying, procrastination is one of the biggest enemies, and we'll always do it tomorrow. But I've got news for you. Tomorrow will not come. But here you have actually got tomorrow's 48 hours. But the other thing that happens, and for me this is wonderful, you will get an email, and what they will invite you to do, and I can't remember if it was 14 days, what he will invite you to do is to read the chapter of persistence, and it's chapter 9. I think it's about, I know it's about 15 pages, 16 pages, but it's chapter 9 on persistence, and you need to read that chapter 10 days in a row, every day. And here is the catch. If you miss one day, you will have to start again from day 1. So if in day 8 you miss out, on day 9 you start again on day 1, and you carry on to day 19. So both Artie and I have done this, and the discussions that go on in your head about persistence, because it's about persisting. Amy is signed on as well. Well done, Amy. I look forward to hear about all this, especially the persistence chapter as well, because that exercise alone to show you, and there is no audio, nobody can read it for you. You need to do that 10 days in a row. And I did, when I did this the last time, there was days that at 11 o'clock at night I would not go to bed because I hadn't read it yet, because stuff happens. So here is my 1 cent's worth for you. If you're really serious about doing it, get up an hour early. Get up 45 minutes early, an hour if you're a slow reader. Get up an hour early and read it first thing in the morning and get it done, because there is times that stuff will happen in the best intention in the world. It happened to me as well. But I said I would not go to bed because I did not want to start all over again, especially when I was about 6, 7, 8 days in. And he mentioned it as well. It might have been 14 days before, but try 10 days. I hope you will sign up, because as a personal development course, it's a great start. If you're talking about the new year, it's a great start to the next week, but it's certainly a great start to this year for you to develop yourself. So there's my plug. And I only do it because and not just because Paul Martinelli is a great friend and mentor of mine, but I mean, Roddy Galbraith is one of our speaker trainers. He's an amazing speaker trainer globally, but they're both amazing human beings who've done this for us, and I know what it's meant to me so far, and I know it'll mean a lot to you when you actually decide. Persistence. And I actually wrote something down, and I'm going to read it as well, and it comes out of the book in the chapter of persistence, and it says, poverty consciousness will voluntarily seize the mind which is not occupied with money consciousness. Now, I'm not going to say it again, because if you want to read it, it's in the book, and you can get it for free, by the way. But basically, what that actually, in other words, if you do not fight for what you want, that what you don't want will automatically take its place. Now, that I will repeat for you. So, if you do not fight for what you do want, that which you do not want will automatically take its place. And that is also a big reason why there is so much poverty around. But it's a whole different story. But without persistence, you'll be defeated before you start. With persistence, you'll win. And it's that simple. It is that simple that we as human beings always make it difficult. Because persistence only means keep going. I don't even, Churchill had a saying about it. Success is going from failure to failure until you reach your goal. And he didn't say go from failure to success to no, from failure to failure. So that means get up every time you fall down. Get up, get up, get up. And you know, even better when you do get up, that you actually learn something from the previous failures. You know, Edison. I mean, he didn't even finish high school, yet because of him, the inventions we've got, and I mean, persistence. They talk about 10,000 light bulbs before he found the incandescent light, and it doesn't matter how many, whether it's 1,000 or 10,000. It was an awful lot anyway. And if it was 1,000, he says, at least I found 999 ways how not to do it. But he has inventions, you know, more than 50, between 50 and 100 inventions that that are very useful today, from a guy who they said would never amount to anything. Einstein was never going to amount to anything. His math was ridiculous. And you know, the history books are filled with people who persisted, who kept going despite the critics. You know, sometimes it's even good to prove them wrong. You know, it's a kind of quiet satisfaction. But sometimes the persistence will come when you have no choice, that circumstances drive you. Now, do you really want to wait until circumstances are such that you're with your back against the wall and every day you must? And whatever that is, you can fill in. Is it not much better for you to be in control and start that today? Sign up and learn today. I mean, I can come back every week and talk about this kind of stuff, you know, and have discussions. And I hope to see in the future that when, not if, when you have signed up, you've actually shown to not only me, to yourself more than, because whether you sign up to me, for me, is irrelevant. I'm not doing this for me. I have signed up. Me and Arthur are both becoming our accountability partners, and we're going to do this together because we've both done it before. And still, there is a need. There's always a need for personal development, and this is one of the classics. So, there is, as I just said, Arthur and I, we're going to become accountability partners in this process. We talked about this already. But, you know, it is a wonderful way. Rather than wait till you have to, that your back is against the wall and now I have to do whatever. It is sometimes good to find, you might have heard about masterminds. Now, masterminds are all kinds of connotations. That's groups of clever people sitting together and developing stuff. No. Masterminds are simply people getting together and discussing things and making each other accountable. But also, sometimes you have a challenge. And in that mastermind group, it's a group of like-minded people. In that group, there might be other people who have solutions that you would have never thought of. But it's great to actually get together in small groups. We have a roundtable process, which is called values-based leadership. It's actually also these group processes work. ask yourself, why in January are so many people all of a sudden signing up for a gym membership? And I see it here. There's complexes with big gyms, yet you see people getting dressed to go out to the gym when they can do it for free in the gym, because people want to be in groups and want to be together. It's what people do. I know people more and more become insular because of all the electronics and all that kind of stuff and lack of communication. But find some similar people who, and they don't even have to live near you. If you know friends in other countries, because we are communicating now, so you can do the same. But it is. Les Brown said at one time about failure, and I like it. He says, when you fall down, make sure you fall on your back, because when you can look up, you can get up. Now, I always, I kind of think a little bit about boxing in the ring when the first time that happened, and I still have that picture in my mind. And if you've ever seen the Rocky films, the Rocky IV, and all the whole lot, but if you've seen all the Rocky films, where he goes down and then he crawls up against the ropes, and eventually he stands up again, and then he comes again and his face is all bloodied and says, "Oh, you're not so bad." And he couldn't talk that well beforehand, although he's come a long way. But when his face was all smashed up, but he wouldn't stay down. Muhammad Ali, to think of another boxing one right now, he was once asked, when he got knocked down, and it wasn't very often he got knocked down, but when he did get knocked down, why did he not stay down for 8 or 9 seconds? Why did he just get up? He always, if you look at it, whenever he could, especially in his heyday, he would never stay down long. He says, the canvas is no place for a champion. Now, your canvas is no place for you. That means you need to get up. Don't lie down too long. Even though you can look up, you can get up, but don't lie down too long looking at the sky and looking at everything and no, get up. Because failure isn't final, quitting is. So for you, what does it take? Persistence. So if I ask you that question again now, what do you want most in life? Figure it out, because, and it's not just. I'm very happy if you actually go after this, go down and sit and set small goals, because in the process we work with, every week we set small human behavior goals. But when you do that a lot of times, one after the other, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. But sometimes the big goals, and I tell people as well, get big goals. It says if you haven't got goals that scare you half to death that you can hardly sleep, then you haven't got big enough goals. Because the problem with people usually is not that they set too big a goal and miss them. No, that they set very small goals and hit them, and then they're done, they're finished. Okay, we've done this now, wait till next year or whatever. Happy New Day, by the way. We can start again tomorrow. So in your goals, if you have bigger goals, you need to split them up into smaller goals. And you need to reward yourself as well when you do that. But you need a definiteness of purpose. And I got that exact words, I remember now, a definiteness of purpose. That you really need to know what you want. Whether it's a burning desire. And you need, apart from that, you need a written plan. Because wishing has never been a good strategy. It's a dream, a pipe dream, things you can... would have been nice, if only. What if only? If only you did what? Or is it if only you had enough money? Well, why don't you have enough money? What are you going to do about it? What is your next step? See, we are, because of everything that happens around us, the negative people, the negative news, CNN, constant negative news, the negative news, the moaning and the complaining and the blaming that we always hear, and we might even be part of it, it is very difficult to think very positive. And that is something, the good thing is, it's something you can develop. Read better things, listen to better material, and surround yourself with better people. Only the 3 things. It's as simple as that, but do it continuously, persistently. So, now, I will give you these 4 points, and I wrote them down because, according to Napoleon Hill, there are 4 distinct steps to follow. So, you will read this anyway, because when you sign up, you're going the chapter of persistence is your very first one, but it'd be distinctive. So the first one, and I just mentioned, is definiteness of purpose backed by a desire, an innate desire for its fulfillment. So, just a purpose and that desire that you have, that you want to see this to come to fruition, whatever it is. And, I am not just talking about big, huge goals. Many small goals lead up to a big one. See, if you did one small thing every day, Happy New Day, tomorrow we can do it again. If you did one small thing every day that was important to you, and you do that 365 days of the year, heaven forbid you miss out 25 because of holidays and whatever, but that's why I say small things, so they can't be done. And when you start getting into the habit, hi Hannah, and if you start to get into the habit of doing those small steps, if you want to go back, and I don't know if it's still available, but when I talked about living intentionally, and that's what I'm really talking about. Persistence is also about living intentionally, that persistently every morning you do something, whether it's for yourself, for your family, for your neighbors, your community, your city, your country, even people in other countries. We can reach far nowadays. With modern technology, we don't have to just leave it. So if we know people, wherever they are, we can do things for other people. And, I know, but I can't because... Lovely to see you, Hannah. I can't do this kind of stuff because... And a lot of excuses and alibis happen. And however sure they are. But, we can make excuses or we can make progress. But we're definitely not going to make both of them. I'll tell you that again. We can make excuses or we can make progress. The choice is yours, which one it's going to be. And if we look back, that's why I say, do things every day, because you don't want to wait until this time next year and think, okay, it could have been, it would have been nice, but hey, we're gonna give it another go. Happy New Year, here we go again. How often does it happen? My question for you is, let me say it slightly different. This time next year, what do you want to have happened? I didn't say what would you have liked to have happened. What do you want to have happened by this time next year? And it could be a list of things. It doesn't have to be one single thing, but if you can think about one definite thing that will take its time to achieve persistence. Whatever that is. But can you fill that in? And if not, are you just going to live through this year again and look back and say, well, hi, another one gone. Happy New Year. Shake hands, hug people, and we do it all over again. Like the hamster in the wheel. It's your choice. It's nobody else's choice but the person looking in the mirror every morning. And as I said once before, I don't know if it was in a speech, in a keynote or here, but I already know that there is plenty people here who are afraid to look in the mirror every morning. Afraid because they can't stand the sight to see how comfortable they've become, how convenient everything has become. And there's others who don't want to look in the mirror in the morning because they're afraid of the power of that light they see. So whether you're afraid of success or afraid of failure, you are afraid. What are you afraid of? And we all know what fear stands for, but persistence. The longer you think about things you want to do and you don't do it, the more excuses you can find. Or if you don't find them, your family, your friends, your acquaintances will find them for you because they know you and you haven't done anything so far. It's up to you to prove them wrong. Not me, not your neighbor, it's you. So the second one is a definite plan expressed in continuous action. After a definiteness of purpose backed by a burning desire for its fulfillment, the next one is a definite plan expressed in continuous action. Now, listen to that. So you need to have a plan expressed in continuous action. That means keep going. Persistence. So continuous action. That's if persistence is too much for you, continuous action. It has to start somewhere, but it doesn't have to stop unless you choose. And whatever excuses or alibis you have to stop something, it is your choice. Not your neighbor, not anybody else. Well, put it this way, what stops you? And is there other things that you can't do that maybe you need help sometimes, maybe, but you don't have to stop. It might be a brick wall, but don't think about the brick wall. Find out what has stopped you, what do you need, who do you need, and find out if you need knowledge, if you need people to help you. But keep going, Don't stop. If you have to look back and reflect and say, okay, hold on a minute, time out. But don't let that time out be until 2020. I mean, 2020. We're not going to have 2020 vision. So might as well have that 2019 vision that, by 2020 you have that vision, and looking back that you've actually achieved what you set out because you persisted all the way. And then you have the third one. Now this is always one, and I've talked about it already. And a mind closed tightly. I mean, I'm telling you word for word what's in there that shows you, and it's just a tiny smidgen of the powerful and good stuff that's in that book. A mind closed tightly against all negative and discouraging influences. And that, of course, includes family, friends, and acquaintances. Includes, especially, I would say. So, yes, heaven forbid you might actually have to change some habits that you have at the moment. We're talking about positivity and all this kind of stuff, and a positive attitude. But already you're on the wrong path. No. Is that, don't say why it cannot be done, say why it can be done. So for you to maybe fine-tune your attitude a little bit here and there, don't sit with negative people and take part in their negative conversations. Grab yourself a book or listen to some positive stuff, an MP3, an MP4, watch some stuff. Les Brown, Robin Sharma, Zig Ziglar, there is a long list. Brene Brown, there is a long list of positive material out there. And make sure that you don't read the paper from cover to cover. And I mean, it was my personal choice, but I have not bought a newspaper for more than 30 years. And that was garbage in, garbage out, and I choose what goes in there. Now, does everything that go in there, is it all positive? No, of course not. But I have cut out a lot of it, and I invested the money I would have paid for newspaper, like most people do. I don't even know what a newspaper costs nowadays. I mean, I'm sure it's gone up in price a little bit in the last 30 years, but I've invested that in and much more in courses, in books, in seminars, in online courses, and speaking courses, becoming part of the John Maxwell team, becoming a Les Brown Platinum speaker, all this thing. And I don't see it as an expense, I see it as an investment. And some of this is for the price of less than a cup of coffee. Some of you are still buying newspapers every day and feel the need that they have to have them in their hand and they have to read them. I don't say don't buy newspapers. I don't say don't read news. It's up to you. But if all I'm saying is some of the steps I took to become much more positive, and positive people do have challenges as well, but we respond better rather than react, for a subject for another day. But we get challenges as well, but we get over them. Instead of moping all day on something, we say, things happened, and sometimes they last a bit longer than others. But most of the time we go through them. It can't be changed. Something has happened, it's done, it's finished in the past now, whether it's only this morning, it's done. Can't change it. But let's learn from it. Reflect, what did really happen? And rather than, and for 3 days, and then you go to the pub and your friends on a Friday night and you tell them all about it again, and they say, oh yes, and I've had the same happen. You get this whole roller coaster of negativity on you. No, people, choices. For your attitude to change, you need to change. And I know, I don't think none of us mind change so much. We just don't like being changed. And that is something. You will be changed regardless. The choice is whether you will change or you will be changed. Because standing still is not an option. In your personal development as well, if you don't do any of it, you either go up or you go down. You never stand still. We are also, and I know Arthi as well does it a lot. She's studying every day, she's learning every day, she's connecting and communicating every day. We're doing it, and I know every mentor in here, because we want to stay relevant. We want to bring you the best materials and that we know of, that we find, and bring it to you. And we will do it gladly. All of us do, and we want you to take that and do something with it, or bring friends here. But before I do that, talk about friends. The fourth point. So the fourth point is a friendly alliance with one or more people who will encourage you to follow through with both plan and purpose. So don't sit there with a friend in the pub over a beer on a Friday night and tell him that what you're planning, and he says, yeah, okay. And he might not even say it, but I thought, find people who will encourage you, who will hold you accountable, who will see it through with you. I am very fortunate that I have Arthi right here, and we're going through this program, but start with this program I've been talking about, and that's why I would never spend most. I mean, this is all stuff that you will find in that book, but I want you to realize, for me to spend the best part of an hour talking about all of this, about the persistence, about the Think and Grow Rich, about the need to invest in yourself. And yes, it's free, but you will need to invest time. Now, if the best thing you will get out of there is, at some point, might not be the first 10 days, but to read the chapter of persistence 10 days in a row, from first letter to the last letter, the full 16 pages, 10 days in a row. And if you miss one, you'll start again. And when you do, if that's the only thing you would get out of this, and I promise you, you will get so much more out of it. But who are you willing to give up on? Yeah, you heard me right. Who are you willing to give up on? You? So, if you are not even willing to invest in yourself, and money is one thing, but time. We can all set time aside for things that are important. Because if I said you were invited to a big function on the other side of the world, and you've got free tickets, free hotel for the week and everything like that, but you need to step on a plane tomorrow, I bet you there's a lot of you would be jumping on a plane and start packing a suitcase tonight. Priorities. That's all it is. What priorities do we set for ourselves in our life? Are we always going to please other people? Are we always going to listen to other people? Or are we finally going to decide that today, Happy New Day, today is the day we're going to sign up for a program that at least will get us started in our track for personal development, and with persistence we're going to make it. And if the people around me don't feel that it's ever going to happen, I am going to show you, because I am important. I do matter. You are important and you do matter. So by doing these kind of things, and I will just mention that 4 points again, and it says it's in the persistent chapter, and that's only chapter 9, which you will read every day for 10 days. Before you get to that in the program, you'll be 9 or 10 days in. But 16 days of a wealth of knowledge to associate with people. You get into a Facebook page for Think and Grow Rich. It'll blow your mind. And quite honestly, it blew my mind the first time. When I first met Paul Martinelli, and I'd been doing personal development since I was 17, which is several years, by the way. Hi, Itchy King, lovely to see you. Which is several years, by the way. But he went so deep that it completely blew my mind. I wasn't ready for him the first time. I have been since, because I've listened a lot to his training calls, and he's one of my mentors. But also, these 4 points, the definiteness of purpose backed by a burning desire for its fulfillment, a definite plan expressed in continuous action, a mind closed tightly against all negative and discouraging influences, including and especially your family, friends and acquaintances, and then a friendly alliance with one or more people who will encourage you to follow through with both plan and purpose. There's that 4 points, to go and become persistent. Now, I hope that I've managed to convince you, for you to join Think and Grow Rich, for you to join and bring friends to Amy Carrier's classroom, because we have at the moment 12 wonderful, amazing, astonishing, powerful mentors in this classroom. Amy has had a dream which she took action on, and she is persistent, by the way. She's a persistent lady. So she took action in putting a classroom together for you. She contacted us because she wanted to give all of you all kinds of information. And it's not about me. It is about you getting information in all kinds of different areas for free. And it's not just watching a YouTube video. If and when you want, you can ask questions. And if you're not watching this live and you're going to ask questions, I will look through this over the next couple of days. And if you have any questions, I promise I will do my best to answer them. And if I can't answer them, because hey, I'm learning all the time as well, I will find somebody or something that will give you the answer, and we'll do it. Hi Nasir, salam. So this is what I would like you to do. And this is a big call to action. I normally not so big, but because we already know, Arthur and me both know the importance of personal development. You know, what are you willing to grow into? You know, this time next year, where would you like to be as a person? Who would you like to be? Because this journey of personal development is not about all you can do, it's all you will become because of what you do. Right? So, I assume that many of you are hungry, as Les Brown. I'm hungry! I hope a lot of you are hungry for information, are hungry for personal development, because if you want to help the people around you, you cannot give what you haven't got, which means that you need to keep filling yourself, like we do all the time. I read, I listen, I associate, I train, I do all kinds of stuff. Continually. Remember I said about the difference between having good intentions and, yes, you might now sit here or you might watch this. And remember, if you are on the 14th or the 15th, you see this, still sign up. It's never too late. You get access to 48 hours to every session, and other videos and other stuff that comes, and a workbook and a free book, blah, blah, blah. But you need to be willing to spend your time. To spend your time, that means spending, not money, but your time. But I firmly believe that it'll be one of the best ways to start 2019. You're 2 weeks in. How much personal development have you done for the last 2 weeks? I know how much you can do for the next 2 weeks, the 16 days. Think and Grow Rich. You know, thinking is something that we all think we do, but here a quote, and I mentioned to somebody last night, as Arthur was on actually, I was talking to somebody, one of the band members below, and we talked about thinking, and this quote came back to me by George Bernard Shaw. And George Bernard Shaw said that 2% of people think, 3% think they think, and 95% would rather die than think. Where are you? See, most people, they mistake mental activity for thinking. But if this doesn't get developed, you know, in martial arts, we say the mind governs the body. The eyes are the souls of the mind, and so we need to develop this. If we spend as much time feeding this as we feed this, we'd be very wealthy, all of us. And here you get an opportunity for free in one of the best personal development courses I have ever come across. Free. Do yourself a favor. Don't only sign up, but share that link with anybody and everybody, because I know that there will be thousands upon thousands upon thousands on that program as from tomorrow. I've already seen many thousand on the Facebook page who have got access to the Facebook page where we can actually discuss things with people. We can ask questions about the whole program. It is an amazing program. Think and grow. Do you want to think and grow rich? And that richness is in mind, that richness is in body, that richness is in your subconscious, that richness is everywhere around you. It's not just in money. But when this grows, the rest will grow. What are you going to do? Are you going to go through life or are you going to grow through life? The choice is you. But I am Jan Robberts. My time is just about up. I am Jan Robberts. I'm one of the mentors in Amy Carrier's classroom. And every day of the week, Leila just came on as well. There's been quite a few of the mentors have been on the call here. Arthi, of course, she's always there. Leila, PJ, and there's been a few of them on. And, we always support each other wherever we can. But we also want to support you. So if there's anything that you would like to be taught, discussed, mentioned, gone through on this platform, let us know. And if you've got any questions, but first of all, you need to join the platform, of course. And it's Amy Carrier's Classroom. The link will be there somewhere. Somebody will have posted it. But join Amy Carrier's Classroom. We have about 6,500 people. Together, we will grow this to 65,000 people in a very short period of time. But we need you to give the same opportunity to your friends as some of your friends have given to you. So why don't you give them the link? Why don't you say, hey, come on, sign up. This is brilliant. There is people all the way through the week and even at the weekend. And it says it's not about me and all of the mentors will say the same. It's about us having the pleasure of sharing real-time information with you, relevant information that you can use, you can take with you and do whatever you like with it. You can take notes on it, you can watch the video again afterwards, you can do whatever you want, but do something with it and share it. The best thing we can do for other people is share the knowledge we've got. Now, if we've got, it's so often, if you look at my Facebook page as well, I share because I love my friend and mentor Les Brown. I love his speaking, so quite often I share it because I don't want to keep it to myself. I love what he says, and I just posted his best speech again. It's half an hour long, and I thought, okay, if people want to watch it, they'll watch it. But I love it, and I think there's benefit to all kinds of people. The same as why today I talked about this. So friends, it's for here it's now Sunday night the 13th. Join us, sign up in Amy Carrier's Classroom and sign on the link for Think and Grow Rich. Be persistent. Go through this for the next 16 days to the 30th of January. And it says you've got another couple of days after that to finish it off. But by the end of January, you don't need to thank me. But I will thank you for actually having done this, because the best gift you can give to yourself is the gift of development. You'll never know where it's going to take you. But what happens if you don't? Same story next 2020. Happy New Day. Every day we can make a difference. Speak soon. Bye-bye.